Hey there, you looking kinda cute. Please consider subscribing and check out our Patreon for more. Enjoy the video. Danny was pretty young when his fascination with dress-up began. It wasn't the superhero capes or the plastic armor that caught his eye. Instead, he was drawn to the vibrant colors and silky textures in his older sister Mia's costume box. Mia, who fancied herself a princess, had a treasure trove of costumes. Her box was a rainbow of dresses, skirts, fake jewelry, and more shoes than Danny could count. It all started on a rainy Saturday. With thunder rattling the windows, outside play was impossible. Bored and listless, Danny wandered into Mia's room. She had been rummaging through her costume box, preparing for one of her solo royal adventures. She looked up, her face brightening as an idea struck her. "Why don't we play together? I could use a royal friend today," she suggested, her voice full of excitement. Danny hesitated at the doorway, his eyes lingering on a soft pink fabric that peeked from the box. "What would I wear?" he asked, a curious yet unsure lilt in his voice. Mia's smile widened as she reached into the box, the pink fabric now fully emerging as a dress adorned with little white flowers. "Here, you can wear this. We'll be princesses together." The idea was strange, yet the excitement in Mia's eyes was infectious. Besides, Danny thought, the fabric did look awfully comfortable. With a hesitant nod, he agreed, and Mia clapped her hands, ecstatic. The dress felt smooth as Danny slipped it on, the material cool against his skin. It swished around his knees, and he couldn't help but spin a little, eyes wide at the sensation. Mia, delighted, added a plastic tiara to his head, her fingers gentle as she nestled it into his short hair. "Wait right here," she commanded before dashing off. Danny stood there, still spinning occasionally, feeling lighter than he had felt in his regular clothes. There was something fun, something freeing about this, and the smile that stretched across his face was unstoppable. Mia returned, holding a long, wavy wig. "It's not perfect," she admitted, "but it'll do for our game." As she settled the wig onto his head, Danny could hardly recognize himself in the mirror. The boy with the scraped knees and t-shirt was gone. In his place stood a girl, a princess, with long hair that brushed her shoulders and a dress that spoke of fairy tales. They spent the afternoon in their imaginary kingdom, holding court with stuffed animals and decreeing royal mandates to the dolls. Danny forgot all about the thunder outside, about the fact that he was a boy in a dress. He was too caught up in the story, in the softness of the clothes, in the new way he could move and act. When their mother called them for dinner, Danny was reluctant to change back into his jeans and shirt. They felt rougher, heavier, as if they didn't quite fit right. He didn't say anything about it, though. Instead, he quietly ate his dinner, Mia chattering away about their royal adventures. That night, Danny lay in bed, the events of the day replaying in his mind. He remembered the swish of the nylon underskirt, the weight of the tiara, the bounce of the wig as he moved. It was all so different from anything he had known. It wasn't that he disliked his usual games and clothes, but this new game opened a door to a world he never knew he wanted to explore. From that day on, dress-up became their regular game. Each session was a chance for Danny to rediscover that light, free feeling. They were explorers, princesses, witches, and whatever else Mia's box of costumes suggested to them. Their mother watched them with a smile, occasionally suggesting they take the game outside, enjoy the sunshine. But Danny was hesitant. Outside was where reality lay, and he was unsure how the magic of their game would hold up under the weight of other people's gazes. Nevertheless, the thought planted a seed in their minds. What if they could take their magical world outside? What if Danny could be a princess under the wide open sky? The idea was both thrilling and terrifying, and it wasn't long before the temptation to try became too strong to resist. One sunny morning, Mia and Danny sat cross-legged on her bedroom floor, the costume box between them. It was the perfect day for outdoor play, but Danny had been insistent. He wanted to dress up with more attention to detail this time. Mia, always up for a challenge, was keen to help. "Okay," Mia began, tapping her chin thoughtfully. If we're doing this properly, we need to start with a base layer. She reached into the box and pulled out a soft nylon slip. This will make your dress puff out more, she explained, handing it to Danny. He gingerly stepped into it, feeling the smooth nylon slide up his legs and settle around his waist. Next came the dress. Today's choice was a lavender one with tiny white dots, and it had a satin sash that tied at the back. Danny marveled at how different he felt with the nylon underneath, the dress now billowing out around him. Mia clapped her hands in approval. You look fantastic! Now shoes! After some rummaging, she found a pair of white ballet flats that fit Danny snugly. The feeling of the shoes was strange, but not unpleasant. Mia's excitement grew as she moved on to accessories. From the depths of the box, she unearthed matching lavender gloves, a beaded necklace, and even a small purse. Danny couldn't help but giggle as he slipped the gloves on and felt the beads of the necklace against his skin. Now for the wig, Mia declared, holding up a long brown wig with soft curls. Danny hesitated, remembering how hot it had been last time. Are you sure about the wig? He asked, touching his short hair. Trust me, it'll make all the difference, Mia replied. With gentle hands, she positioned the wig on Danny's head, arranging the curls so they cascaded down his back. Danny looked in the mirror and was amazed. The boy from before was entirely gone. In his place was a girl with long flowing hair, dressed in a beautiful lavender dress. Last but not least, makeup, Mia announced. Danny's eyes widened. Makeup, Mia grinned. Just a little, it'll be fun. She opened a small makeup case and began with a light foundation, dabbing it onto Danny's face. Next, she applied a blush to the apples of his cheeks, making them rosy. Then came the eyeshadow, a soft lavender shade to match the dress. Danny watched in wonder as his eyes seemed to pop with the addition of a little mascara and eyeliner. Mia finished off with a pink lip gloss, and Danny's transformation was complete. Mia stepped back, admiring her handwork. Wow, you look incredible, she exclaimed. Danny, still in awe, whispered, I can't believe that's me. The two sat in Mia's room for a while, Danny practicing walking in the flats and adjusting to the feeling of the wig and makeup. The more he moved, the more he became accustomed to this new version of himself. It felt different, but it also felt right in a way he couldn't quite explain. After a while, Mia's face lit up with an idea. Let's go outside, she exclaimed. The sun is shining, and you look too good to stay indoors. Danny hesitated, thinking of the world beyond Mia's room. But the excitement in her eyes was infectious, and he found himself nodding in agreement. The two princesses made their way downstairs, ready to venture outside. They couldn't predict how the world would react, but in that moment, all that mattered was the magic they felt and the fun they were about to have. The moment the back door closed behind them, a world of sunshine and fresh air welcomed the two princesses. Their garden, usually a familiar play zone, now felt like a vast kingdom ready to be explored. Birds chirped overhead, and the wind gently played with the curls of their wigs. Mia grabbed Danny's hand, her fingers intertwining with his. Come on, she exclaimed, pulling him towards their old treehouse. They climbed up, giggling as their dresses got caught here and there. At the top, they could see the entire backyard and even a bit of their neighbor's garden. It felt like they were on top of the world. For a while, they played pretend, turning the treehouse into a grand castle. They hosted imaginary tea parties and defended their castle from imaginary dragons. The sun cast long, playful shadows as they moved, and Danny felt a freedom he had never known before. After their treehouse adventure, they climbed down and headed to their little garden pond. Mia had the idea of pretending it was a magical pool. They took turns making wishes, tossing pebbles into the water and watching the ripples spread out. Danny wished, secretly, for more days like this, days where he could be whoever he wanted to be without worry. He watched as his pebble made circles in the water, wondering if wishes really did come true. After their wishes, Mia suggested a game of tag. They chased each other around the garden, their laughter echoing in the warm air. Danny was amazed at how different running felt with the nylon slip bouncing around him and the wig's weight. He felt a new kind of joy with every step he took. Eventually, tired out from all the running, they collapsed onto the grass, staring up at the few clouds drifting by. They imagined shapes, seeing dragons, castles, and even more princesses in the fluffy white forms. As they lay side by side, Mia turned to Danny, her eyes curious. "Do you like dressing up like this?" she asked softly. Danny thought for a moment, picking at the grass. "Yeah, I do," he admitted, his voice a whisper. "It's like I feel free and happy." Mia nodded, her face thoughtful. "You can always dress up with me," she said, her voice full of warmth. "We can be whoever we want to be together." They lay in silence for a while, simply enjoying each other's company and the beauty of the day. It was during this peaceful moment that they heard voices. They sat up, spotting their neighbors, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson, walking their dog near the fence. The Wilsons were a friendly, elderly couple who often chatted with the teens when they played outside. Seeing an opportunity for more fun, Mia waved them over, her face alight with mischief. Danny felt a pang of nervousness but trusted Mia. If she thought it was okay, then it probably was. He straightened his dress and brushed some grass off his nylon slip, preparing for their next adventure. Mr. and Mrs. Wilson approached the fence, their small dog, Toby, wagging his tail excitedly. The elderly couple always had a kind smile for the neighborhood people, and today was no different. "Well, hello there, young ladies," Mr. Wilson called out cheerfully. He adjusted his glasses, taking in the sight of the two princesses before him. Mrs. Wilson added with a chuckle, "Never thought I'd see two such lovely princesses in this garden." Mia giggled, her eyes dancing with delight. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Wilson. We're having a princess day today." She twirled, showing off her pink dress. Danny felt a flush of warmth at being called a young lady and smiled shyly. "Hi," he said softly, playing with the satin sash of his lavender dress. Mrs. Wilson leaned down, her eyes twinkling. "And what might your names be, princesses?" Mia answered first. "I'm Princess Mia of the Garden Kingdom." She struck a dramatic pose, causing Mr. Wilson to laugh heartily. Danny thought for a moment, then said, "I'm Princess Danielle of the Treehouse Castle." The name felt right, and he grinned. Mrs. Wilson clapped her hands in delight. "What beautiful names! It's lovely to meet you both." The two girls chatted with the Wilsons for a while, discussing their adventures of the day. Mia talked about their magical pond wishes, while Danny shared their treehouse escapades. The elderly couple listened with rapt attention, their faces filled with amusement. As the sun began its descent, casting a golden hue over the garden, Mrs. Wilson said, "It's been a pleasure, princesses, but we best be heading home now. Toby's dinner awaits." The little dog barked in agreement, tugging at his leash. With waves and cheerful goodbyes, the Wilsons continued their walk, leaving Mia and Danny in a fit of giggles. "Can you believe they thought we were both girls?" Mia exclaimed, holding her sides. Danny laughed, his face radiant. "That was the best part!" Their playtime gradually wound down, and as the sky painted itself with shades of pink and purple, the two decided to head inside. Their dresses swished around them as they made their way back to the house, their hands clasped together. Stepping inside, the coolness of the house was a refreshing change from the warmth outside. Their mom, busy in the kitchen, looked up as they entered, a smile playing on her lips. "Well, aren't you two a sight for sore eyes?" she remarked with a twinkle. Mia, always eager to share, began recounting their encounter with the Wilsons, mimicking Mr. Wilson's cheerful greeting. Danny joined in, narrating how he'd introduced himself as Princess Danielle. Their mom laughed, her laughter a gentle melody filling the room. She set down the dish she was washing and wiped her hands. "Sounds like you both had quite the day," she remarked. "How about some hot chocolate to end it?" Both kids nodded eagerly, their earlier adventures having built up an appetite. As their mom prepared the drinks, the siblings settled into the living room, the familiar comfort of home wrapping around them. The smell of hot chocolate filled the air, a hint of marshmallow adding a touch of sweetness. As they sipped their drinks, the three of them chatted about everything and nothing, the bond between them evident in their easy conversation. The topics ranged from school to friends to the latest movie Mia wanted to see. Through it all, Danny felt a sense of peace, grateful for a family that allowed him to be himself, no matter what that looked like. As the evening progressed, yawns began to make their presence known. Mia, rubbing her eyes, mumbled about it being past her bedtime. Their mom chuckled, "All right, off to bed with both of you." Before they parted ways for the night, Mia had a thought. She pulled out 2 silky nightgowns from her drawer. "How about we continue the theme and sleep in these tonight?" she asked, holding them out for Danny to see. He looked at the nightgowns, a smile growing on his face. "Sure, why not?" They changed quickly, the soft fabric of the nightgowns feeling cool and comfortable. With a final hug, they wished each other good night, heading to their respective rooms. As Danny settled into bed, he felt a warmth spread through him. Today had been special, a day filled with adventure, acceptance, and love. He pulled the covers close, the day's memories lulling him to sleep, hopeful for many more days just like this one. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out Patreon for a lot more content and early access to YouTube videos.